I see. What time is it where you're at?
It's 9 a.m.
Nice. 10:30 p.m. here.
and 30 p.m. sleeping time.
Yeah.
So, firstly, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation and accepting to talk with me.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I was super jazzed, so
So, I thought to introduce you to my audience.
uh okay. Should
Yeah,
I go or you?
Can you introduce yourself to my audience?
So hi, my name is C.J.Fisher is my writing name. So I write books. My first one just came out last year. It's a shameless plug, but it's called Enemy Rising. And it's a young adult adventure set in an alternate history, 1805 India. And then when I'm not writing, I'm finishing my third year of law school. So that's also exciting. Almost done.
Okay, you're from?
I'm from the US. My family moved a lot. Right now I'm on the East Coast. So I'm kind of ping all around the States.
Okay. So, Enemy Rising, what is it?
So this is a book that it started out. I had a dream one night, and I dreamed that a princess and her best friend were fighting zombies. So I woke up and I said, "Where do they have princesses?" And after a while, I was like, "Oh, India is perfect." So, now I'm a little nervous because you know a lot more about that than me. Um, so I started researching, and I ended up setting it in 1805, which is when Governor General Richard Wellesley historically started his war. And in this version, zombies pop up, so he has to rethink his plans. And there's four young adults that are trying to kind of weave their way through all the terror and kind of find their destiny.
What is the motive of this book?
So the motive, I think there's a lot of motives. There's themes I kind of wanted to explore from my childhood, sort of concepts of destiny. I think in a lot of ways, zombies symbolize just the chaos of the world and the war, and it kind of more than this being a book where kids just get torn apart by zombies every chapter. I didn't want that. They sort of serve as the catalyst that gets our characters to explore who they are, sort of what their dharma, what their destiny is.
Okay. What is the thing that the readers can understand after reading this book?
Um, Hopefully, I mean, it explores, you know, even though it's set in 1805, it explores themes that we deal with today, racism, fear, war. Hopefully, people can find a connection with it. It does have some mature themes, but I think it'll have maybe a little something for everyone. Of course, it has a little romance because it is a YA. But hopefully, there'll be something someone can relate to personally and maybe think about their own lives.
Is this your first book?
Yeah, yep. I had started a lot of books as a kid, and my older brother was my one faithful reader, and he would read everything, and he always thought I would finish one day, so I finally did. Yep.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, fingers crossed I can get book two out soon.
So is this writing is a full-time job or
So I guess my full time job, I suppose, is being a law student right now. I would I honestly, I don't think I ever want writing to be my only full time job, but I would love if I could get some commercial success, get some fans. Right now, I have a mix of fans and haters, so that's always fun. Um, my brother always says, you know, get one hater tomorrow, one hater today, 10 tomorrow, and that's how you know you're doing good. Um, he's eccentric. But yeah, I will probably end up doing business law for a while. I think it's kind of interesting. We'll see where it'll take me.
so you said you are a law student.
Hmm.
Tell me more about it.
So I'm at Wake Forest University, which is in North Carolina. So I'm in my third and final year. And I started out not really knowing where I wanted to take it. But as I've developed, I've sort of grown an interest in business law, setting up corporate structure, the ins and out, which surprised me because I didn't think I would care about that at all. But it's really interesting, and I think especially now when there's a lot of discussion about how the economy should be in my own country and in other countries. It's interesting to know the law that governs everything.
Business laws.
Mhm. So in the U.S., we have like every state has its own business law, and then there's also sort of an overarching business law. Like you can turn to the MBCA and you'll find sort of the general business code. And then if you go to the state of Delaware, which is this little tiny state that controls everything, you'll find a lot of corporate law there as well. It's kind of the nexus of the U.S. corporate law. I might end up in Delaware someday, but I'm not sure.
So studying about laws in business and telling a story to the world is completely different jobs.
Maybe. Um, I, I think a lot of times when you're trying to win a case for a client, you're trying to tell their story in a way that people will understand and see their point of view. Um, I suppose fiction is very different. I get that a lot. I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, because you become a storyteller instead of studying the laws and knowing the laws and being in that field. You came into a completely a different job, and you there are two dimensions. I saw you in your profile saying there is a third dimension.
Yeah, currently, I'm in the third dimension. Yeah, I know. I don't know if you've ever taken those tests where it decides if you're left-brained or right-brained.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get 50-50. So
Okay.
I guess I try to get things that'll tease everything. Yeah.
So half of your half part of your brain is studying laws, and half part of your brain is writing a book.
Yeah, writing books, making honestly really bad artwork. Um, I'm playing with kids. Yeah.
So
Everyone likes to think their art is genius, but I'm aware mine is not.
you're married?
I'm not. Maybe someday. I would like to be, I guess, someday. I don't think about it too hard. I kind of think those things sort of happen naturally, but yeah.
Nice.
How about you?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I
Not
just
yet.
completed my masters and
Oh,
doing some
congrats.
videos. Yeah,
How long have you been doing these interview videos?
maybe for 4 to 5 months. Yeah,
Nice. I watched a few. They were interesting. So good job.
yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, when is your the next book is going to be out?
So it was originally supposed to come out around Christmas, but because of COVID-19, my last semester of law school was squished into 12 weeks instead of like about 15 or 16. So I fell a little behind schedule. I don't know. I'm going to push really hard, but I think realistically it'll probably come out in January or February this in the next 2 months. And then I am self-published, so I can set my own schedule, which is great. But that does I have friends and family who are in the editing business and they'll help me out, but that does put them on a little bit of a time crunch. So I just want to be flexible with everyone. Um, I have a growing fan base, but it's not huge. So I think the individuals who are out there will hopefully be patient with me. But I can give them a book discount. So sorry for the wait.
So, okay. So, what made you to become a writer?
Um, I think actually when I think back, even when I was a little kid, I would write little short stories about imaginary animals and things. And I think the key moment for me was when I was in second grade. My teacher said she had this locked cabinet full of books, but it was the big kid books, and I really wanted to get in there. And then one day she was like, "Oh, you can have the key." Um, and she gave me a Nancy Drew, and I went home and I read it in an hour. And it just sort of transported me to this whole other world. And I felt like she was my best friend. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I hope someday I can do that for someone else. So that was probably it.
So, what is the response that you got for the book that you released?
Mostly positive. I would say about 3/4 of my responses are like, "Oh, I really enjoyed it," or "I love that character and I hate that character," or and then every once in a while I get a review that's just like, they're like, "You're the worst," and they vary. One person, it was sort of flattering. They said it was a great idea, but it should have been theirs. 1 star. But some critics have things they that I'm like, oh, that's true. And then a great thing about being self-published is some of, I think actually my favorite critics are ones that point out like, oh, there were some grammar errors, or oh, you used the wrong Hindi word here, and then I can go back and fix it. So even though it's a little bit of a rough review, I actually really appreciate that. So
Uh, you want to be a full-time writer, or you want to continue as a law in the law-related field?
I'm not sure. I haven't officially started the law related field. Some of my professors tell me that they see me not going full law, so I'm not sure how to take that. Um, we'll see. I love writing. I have a couple books in the works. I have some novellas and a few screenplays. So I guess if it ever got really took off, then I'd have a decision to make. For now, it's just something I love to do, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Okay. So, what genres you love?
To read or to write?
To write and to read.
Okay. So to write, I love young adult fiction. I love writing science fiction as well. Recently, I started writing more adult science fiction, so that's been fun and interesting. When it comes to reading, I love everything. I love the classics. I love the new stuff. I'll pretty much any genre, except for I'm sorry to French writers. I usually don't read many French writers. Yeah. But I'll still do like the Russian depression any day. I don't know. I'm sorry, French.
So, what influenced you? What made you to become writer?
Sorry.
What made you to become writer?
So just like I said, I don't know. I guess it's just something I started. I mean, you have a laptop, you got fingers, you sit down. Nothing really. Just it's just a passion. What made you become an interviewer?
I think I'll give the same answer that you give.
Yep.
So, genres you said. So, what book you read most of the time when you are free?
Most of the time, the Bible is probably number one. I read that all the time. Um, Fiction, lately I've been going back and reading Leo Tolstoy. I just think he has a really good way of capturing human emotions. I Have you heard of the Three Body trilogy?
No.
So that's a Chinese science fiction trilogy by, I'm going to say his name wrong, so I apologize, Xixing Liu. It's really good. I just started that. I'm on the book 2 already. It's great. I would recommend it. I admire the way he can really, usually when you read about space, it doesn't mean anything. To me. But when he describes it, you can really like feel the great expanses and how tiny you are in it all. And I just admire that a lot.
Okay. So, at last, do you have anything to say about your book to the world who watches this video from anywhere on this planet?
Sure. My book is Enemy Rising. It's book 1 of the Curse Chronicles. It's going to be probably a 4 or 5 book series. If you enjoy young adult, if you enjoy adventure, struggle, friendship, you might enjoy the series. I guess I would warn people that it does have themes of racism and sexism and basically any struggle that we face today, they still faced back then. So if you're sensitive, that's fine, but this might not be the book for you. But if you like adventure, I think you'll love it. And I obviously think it's the best book in the world, of course. Uh, Not really, but it's pretty good. So I hope you'll give it a try.
So, at last, any good words?
Words of wisdom. Oh, that's always tough. Words of wisdom. I think some of the best, as a writer, one of the best words I got was from a professor who just said to me, writers write. And so he kind of just said, like writer's block and things like that is just an excuse. He's like, even if you don't feel like writing, just sit down and do it. And you can always, throw it away if it's trash, or you can rewrite it and make it something better. But writers write. And I really think that applies to anything in life. Like, you're an interviewer and a great one. So interviewer, no matter what your passion is, you're going to get people who tell you that you should stop. Don't go for it.
So at last, have you watched any previous videos of mine on YouTube?
I have watched some, yeah.
So what you felt?
Sorry?
What you felt?
What did I find?
What did you felt after watching the videos of mine?
Oh, I thought they were interesting. I mostly watched author interviews because I'm an author, so I was curious to see what the other authors would say. And it was helpful. I think I learned from them. Otherwise, I'd have come in here and I'd have had, I don't know what I'd have said. It would have been crazy. And you've been like, enough with this interview. Um, I thought they were good. I feel like you always start out a little nervous, and then by the end of it, you have a good rapport, which is good. So,
Thank you for giving me your valuable time and explaining me about your book and about yourself.
yeah, thank you so much for having me, and good luck.
So, yeah, can I put this video on my YouTube channel and on social media on internet with your permission?
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely, and thank you for the spreading the word.
Thank you. Keep
Ha-
going.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Bye.